Hello and welcome to the first show of the Whispering Dawn podcast. We are a weekly Final Fantasy IV podcast. We record every Sunday, and yes, I know it's Tuesday, so we're doing this after pretty much the patch 2.55. I am Lothathor Wylith, and I'll be your host. As always, well, from this point on at least, I'll be joined by Giganta Thighs.
Hello.
Dementia Pracox.
Hello.
And Anya Frey.
Hello.
And I'm actually sorry if I kind of butchered anybody's name there.
That's okay. You did. It's Anya Freya.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about, well, of course, patch 2.55, which dropped earlier this morning. We're also going to be going back probably about like 3 to 4 weeks here and try to catch up on like the PAX East interview and the live letter. So how's everybody doing?
I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm sorry that I'm gonna kind of have you on mute for just a moment. I'm really sorry. I made my kid upset, so, but I'm doing great otherwise.
I'm doing pretty good. I got some of the quests down from today's patch, and I just need to do the actual trial now.
So you actually got through the storyline?
Yeah, I got through about half of it. I still have half more to go.
Okay.
I've been up through and actually finished the Steps of Faith, which is the new trial, and it's a pain in the ass.
I haven't even gotten close any of that. I have been able to do like the first 3 or so sections of it, but I'm really, really excited to just kid to sleep and just murder the new stuff. I can't wait.
I haven't even gotten into it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for the storyline. I've been waiting for this half for like since what was it, 2.5.
Yeah, they definitely left with a cliffhanger on the end of 2.5. So no spoilers, I'm sure, but hopefully we'll get some kind of conclusion, I guess.
No spoilers, no, but apparently the last cutscene is about 45 minutes long.
That's what I hear. I have a one of the officers in my free company actually said that that was the longest cutscene he has ever witnessed ever. So I guess I have to plan that into my bed to plan the time tonight.
Someone was saying it's about an hour and a half long, and it's a pretty decent cutscene, but there's no way I'm gonna go through that.
That's really long.
Oh, I'll sit through the whole thing. I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, no, I'm going to sit through the whole thing. I'm going to sit through all.
I can't do that. You guys have some patience. I cannot.
I understand.
I'll most likely be live streaming it, so yeah, it's going to be about an hour and a half of me not talking and the game just taking over. All right, do we just want to get into this now and get this done and over with?
Sure, whatever. Like I said, this is all new territory to me, so you lead, I'll follow.
Alrighty, well, let's start with the, I guess the last live letter from the producer. I mean, there's one coming up in, was it April 11th?
Yes, April 11th is the next one.
And I think we're going to get more details, way more details than we did at this live letter.
Oh, I'm sure. So, and we're talking about the one from the latest one that released on the 14th?
Yes. Or actually, it looks like it was done the 27th. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Or maybe it was, because it says summary 327. I'm looking on the
It's
forums
the 27th.
here.
March 27th.
That wasn't that far. That wasn't that long time ago, was it?
It was only a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that was only a couple of days ago, so.
Okay, so let's get into this. The first thing we find out is the actual release date for Heavensward, which is July 23rd, 2015.
Yes.
And I am quivering in anticipation.
I already got my days off.
I asked
I may
to
have
put
to find a
mine in.
babysitter. Oh.
So it's going to be available on 4 different platforms: Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Mac. That seems kind of standard at this point, isn't it?
I didn't
Yeah.
know that they had Macintosh support, actually. So that's...
They're just bringing Mac support in with Heavensward. You will be able to buy a package that comes with A Realm Reborn and Heavensward for Mac, so they're just bringing it in.
Cool. Well, that's good to see that they're finally supporting on the Apple platform, because, you know, I had a Mac for a really long time, and just a bummer that you don't have native support for a lot of the games that you want to play on Apple OS. So that's really cool that they're introducing that.
Yep. So, do we want to go through all of this, or because all of it is just basically packaging and?
We can touch on it.
I mean, the thing is that you can get certain types. You can get just by the collector's edition, the online collector's edition and the boxed set.
This is true. So there are several options. So
That's true. If I could, I would actually get the collector's edition, because oh my god, that thing is stacked with like awesome stuff.
I pre-ordered it the first day it came onto pre-order on the Square Enix store.
Still waiting. I'm still waiting for the digital CE to come out on, and my husband's waiting for it to come out through Steam. So we're waiting.
That's what
I'm
I'm
waiting
waiting
a
for
bit.
too. Is I'm waiting for Steam as well, because that's where I got my copy through.
Yeah, you know what? I'm hoping that the only thing is I don't want to lose out on early access. Those extra few days can make a whole lot of a difference.
It could, and I would love to be able to get into early thing myself, but I'm still waiting on like any confirmation on anything for Steam.
Exactly, and I'm not going to order a physical copy. I just don't need it. So hopefully they will get the digital out soon.
Yeah.
So
I'm
a number of need it.
I'm not too much of a fan of the physical collector's edition. It's just essentially a paperweight, and I mean, as much as I'd like to have it, it's not necessarily a necessity, and you can get basically everything else from the digital copy.
Well,
Okay.
you do get like the art, books and the storybooks and stuff, and you get the statue, which is pretty cool. But far as me, not in-game me, but me in my own home, in my own life, I'm really not a big fan of having stuff around me. And so if I add more stuff into my life, that's more stuff that I have to clean. And I don't want to pay for more things that I have to clean. That's gonna be pretty. Pretty.
The figure is not that big from what I've been hearing. I mean, I heard it's it's relatively small compared to, other things. But then again, the artwork book does seem really nice. But I just don't know
Right.
about spending $129 on, again, the gear on top of everything else when I can just probably find another way to get it.
Yeah. Well, I just it'll sit on my shelf, unfortunately. I'd like to say that I'd break it out at parties and stuff, but who has? I don't have parties, so
Same.
Well, I guess the cool things about the collector's edition, and we probably should touch upon this, is like all the in-game stuff that you can get, from the Flying Griffin mount to the Baron Helm to the Wind-Up Cane minion.
Yes, that's what I'm excited for.
I'm so excited for the Cane minion.
Griffin. And what else? Let me see. I've got my list here.
And then you also get, when you do pre-order, you also get the Baron circlets and the Baron earrings. And the Chocobo Chick Carrier.
I can go either way on that. So, yeah. I've got my plethora of Mandragora minions that I have grown myself from seeds I have crossbred and gained on my own. And I've got Onion Knights, so I'm pretty, and a Nana Bear, so I'm pretty good on minions. Like, I think I'll be alright without it.
I have 96 minions, including the Fat Cat, and I can't wait for the new minions with the collector's edition.
Yeah.
I don't have 96 minions, but my collection is getting up there.
I'm sitting at a whopping 33 minions. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I probably have about the same, about 33 minions, so.
I mean, give or take, a couple of them are like the ones that, like the Yashola one and the Deity's Day minion, but still 90-something minions is just ridiculous.
That is a lot of minions.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing you get from the pre-order, which we've already discussed, was the early access.
Yes.
I already have my days off.
Which you will get on Monday, June 22nd.
I heard something different. Thought that the early access started the 19th. Yeah. Early access begins June 19th. Official service for Heavensward, June 23rd.
Okay, I'm just reading what's off the thing here, so...
At least that's what... I'm not sure which one, is more accurate or another. I'm just reading it off of the Square Enix forums, so... sure whether
I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be... I think it's gonna be the 19th, because that seemed like early access instead of like the day before.
Exactly. Yeah, that would make sense that you could have a few days to kind of get a leg up,
But the thing is, if you're on Mac, you don't get the early access because the Mac version will go on sale on June 23rd.
Well, and I suppose that's rather, I guess it doesn't matter, in a sense, Because if they're just coming into the game and it's, being released with Heavensward, there's no point in them getting early access because Heavensward requires that you be, finished with the 2.5 story content in order to seat. So I guess it doesn't matter. Well, maybe it does matter to somebody that wanted to burn through the game, but I don't know anybody who's burned through the game in 3 days.
No, it's going to take a little bit longer to probably reach that. The other thing that I find interesting by reading this is that it looks like it's going to be 20 gigs. So this is a pretty large thing too, as well.
Right, and that's going to put some of the PS3 users with small hard drives kind of at a standstill. It's get a new system with a bigger hard drive or don't play anymore. But, you know, truth be told, I don't think I know anyone really that has the 20 gig PS3 models anymore because they filled up so fast. We had one a long time ago and it filled up, so we ended up upgrading. So I'm sure there's a handful out there, but I don't think that's gonna really impact the customer base all too much.
No, I think that's everything from the live letter. So let's switch over to the Famitsu PAX East interview, where we got tons of information, and I mean just a ton.
All right, let me pull that info up. Okay.
Okay, so the full trailer will be released after 2.55 because there are scenes that directly reveal what happens in the main storyline. So there'll be flashbacks and stuff that will explain why our hero has such a long and defeated look at the beginning of the trailer.
Doesn't leave me with that good of a feeling.
It doesn't at all.
You know, it just feels like you've already been through enough with the things that have happened in before the fall. That maybe maybe it's just the beginning of it to show you the culmination of all the good things that will happen in Heaven's Ward. I don't know.
I don't know if this would be like too much of a spoiler, but after like everything that happened like after the last patch, I'm not feeling too good with my character at the moment anyway.
Yeah. Agreed. But it has to get better, and they've certainly done a really good job of hooking you in and making sure that you stay in for the long haul so that you have to find out what happens to you, you know, what happens to your character. And without saying too much, you have to see if you get back what you lose, and if, how do I say it? If everything turns out okay. Of course, it never does because it's an MMO and everything just keeps going and going and going. So, you know, it's always going to be one thing after another, right?
Well, the thing I found interesting is that video was supposed to be was originally 13 minutes long, but they managed to cut it down to 9 minutes.
So there's an additional, 4 minutes there?
I wonder how much they're going to let us know from that trailer then.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Well, maybe they just needed to cut down some time. I'm not sure. Maybe they didn't have ulterior motives. They always have ulterior motives.
Well, according to what I'm looking at here, they said they managed to cut it down for our sanity, so...
Maybe this... Are you looking at the written version?
I'm reading one here that's on Reddit, so...
The Reddit of the... Yeah. Reddit's 2015 PAX East interview. Okay. Let me see up with where you are on it. That way we can get on the same page. maybe.
That's the link right there where I'm at.
I can't. Say that again?
I just put it in our little chat thing here where I'm at, so.
I don't know if I can see it on.
Is everybody else still here?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so yours is a little bit different then. Okay. That would be why I couldn't link up with you. So. Okay. Okay, I see what you see here. The full trailer will be released after 2.55 because there are scenes in there that directly reveals what happens. Be flashbacks, stuff. Okay.
Now, what I find interesting in this whole thing is like the RR character creation. They're going to be extreme.
Eyes.
Facial patterns are the most detailed of the current available classes, and Benchmark will not contain all options available because they're attending to as much as possible before the release date. But you can save your character detail and immediately continue from it on official release.
Horn. Huh.
So it looks like the people that get to go to this theater gets to have their time just creating a little aura character.
Well, lucky them.
Yeah.
And it looks like the horns will be visible when wearing full helms, and a lot of the effort is making sure the helms don't clip with gear. And I'll go from 2.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice. I wish that they do that for the Makotes.
I wish they would do that with like long hair.
Yeah, that too. That too. So it'll be interesting to see that maybe if they can integrate that within the horns, if they're gonna hopefully follow that with maybe fixing some of the other texture issues with the other characters.
One can only hope. Okay, so the next is some famous Final Fantasy characters will appear in Ishgard.
Huh, but I see that it says here too, though, probably Rowena, as how seeing that she has already, I'm going to try that again. They're saying that Rowena is probably going to go to Ishgard because she already has a monopoly in Eorzea.
And Jarrett will also be moving somewhere in his quest to craft the ultimate kettle.
So, this probably Rowena, though, is that just supposition, or is that a for sure probably going to happen kind of a thing? Or is that just MMO gossip?
I don't know.
I don't either. I guess we'll find out.
Well, villages and outposts in Ishgard will use names from 1.0. One of these villages survive on chocobo hunting.
Chocobo hunting. Now, is that like the hunting of chocobos or using chocobos to hunt?
Most likely hunting of the chocobos.
I do not approve of that. I don't approve of that. Hopefully it's the other way around, because I don't know. That leaves me with a weird feeling inside, you know? Like my chocobo has a name and I've fed him and I've dyed him colors and I put clothes on him. I'd be very offended if someone tried to hunt him and kill him.
Well, I mean, if they do survive on chocobo hunting, all they have to do is kill one fat chocobo, and they'll probably be fed for like months.
This is true. This is got a fair point.
I do not volunteer my choco.
Exactly.
I don't either.
Sorry for the noise.
My fat chocobo needs to stay with me at all times.
Sorry for that. I am tempted to say the same.
Fat chocobos and Lala's gotta stick together.
Okay, the next thing that's going to be interesting with the storyline, especially the Ishgard quest, is the Seven Heavenly Dragons. Nizbak, Bahamut, Tymant, and more will be revealed and they'll be key, but Bahamut's story and how he's summoned and captured will also be revealed.
Mm.
Oh, and Omega 2.
Yeah. Well, and I figured that was really going to be the focus of it because given the direction that Before the Fall is heading and it being so focused on the dragons that it kind of made sense that it would go in that direction.
So there's going to be more than just the one dragon we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was wondering when we're going to see more dragons.
I think they're trying to walk the line of not being too Skyrim-y, and I think they're doing that very well. This
is true. I do like the fact that there's hardly like any dragons in, and like the ones we've seen so far are, I hate to say dead, but it seems like that's kind of, at least the ones I've seen so far have been dead, or the big Bahamut thing.
Yeah, kind of like their time has passed, but it seems like they're bringing it back in as a resurgence. And so I think that we're going to see a lot more of that, and I really think that that's going to be a focus in the expansion of working and battling dragons. So I think they'll do okay, though. I don't think that they'll cross the line into it being too, too much like Skyrim.
Well, let's go into jobs, because they did go into some of the jobs here. The first thing that they said was that they wanted to avoid a situation like in Final Fantasy XI where haste was overpowered. So skill speed, spell speed has been mostly insignificant, but they're going to be a huge change in 3.0, and the DOTs will be directly influenced by skill/spell speed.
I guess I'm kind of indifferent to that. So I guess I don't know if that's going to apply to healing over time, or if that's just going to be just time.
Well, it just says DOT, so that's like damage over time. So
right, so you would assume damage, but then they also talked about when working with buffs, and buffs in that case would be some of the things that healing over time, or buffs that you can place on somebody like I can't think of something that works over time.
Eye for an eye, regen.
Yeah, maybe well, I thought about something like that, but not necessarily. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. I was thinking like the Black Mage buff that he can that you can place on somebody, like Apocastasis, where it changes over time. And so maybe with the strength of skill speed, it's going to affect how well those things work or do not work. I don't know.
Well, the only thing is I've been trying to get my spell speed at least, and my healer like really fast, so that when I'm healing, I can do it real fast. But I mean, that's the only thing that's I think I'm going to be looking forward.
Yeah, guess I don't have any further comments on it. I guess that just isn't something that personal, even as a white mage, isn't significant.
Okay, we'll just move on to the individual classes then. Dark Knight's going to live on MP. They considered using HP, but they thought it was going to be too dangerous. You're going to cast MP to cast a Darkness buff that drapes you in a Darkness aura. And playstyle will involve maintaining that aura, using it for defense or damage.
Myself and many others, including my husband, are super excited for Dark Knight. That's the tank class that I've always been waiting for.
Well, it says it's going to be a new style of tanking that's probably never been before seen.
Right. And that for me, I really want something different because, like Warrior and even Paladin, and it's a lot of fun. But I really think that Dark Knight is going to be something special, at least for me personally. Really, really excited. And I know that a lot of the other people that I play with are really excited for Dark Knight as well.
Well,
I'm excited, but I don't know how far I want to get my hope with it because, I've seen games do this before, like, oh, yeah, it's going to be something and unexpected, but then it's just the same old thing, just another different, aspect of it, if that makes any sense.
It makes it makes perfect sense. The other thing that says here, and I don't know if they're trolling with this comment, but it says you might want to stock on Piety materia.
Sounds kind of like a troll to me. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. Stock on Piety for Dark Knight, but I guess I'm just gonna see how it comes. You'd think though that with all the hype around it, though, that I would hope that they wouldn't really disappoint, Well,
I think we're going to learn more about these when the new live letter comes about too.
Yeah, which will be in a little less than 2 weeks or so, right around there.
No one can get into class, and I'm actually personally really looking forward to an Astrologian.
Everybody's looking forward to Astrologian, and I'm curious about it, but I have a white mage that I have worked my booty off get to eye level 130, and I have blood, sweat, and tears into my relic weapon, which I finished, by the way. I have Zeta.
Congrats.
Yay, congrats.
I know. I finally got it. It's awesome. And so it's just kind of like, okay, do I really want to do that again with another healing class?
User disconnected from your channel.
I'm not doing relic again. I'm not going to change it, and I'm not going to make a main for another healer. White mage is going to be my mage, or white mage is going to be my main. I'll probably level it and have it available like I have Scholar available on an as need or I'm bored and want to do something else basis. But it's not something that I'm going to pursue fervently because like I said, I have put blood, sweat, and tears into getting my white mage as leveled as she possibly can be, and not starting over.
It looks like we lost somebody here, so... The cool thing I find out about this is hopefully she'll come back and we can hear her thoughts, but the cool thing is the Astrologians are going to be switching between two stances, Healer and Barrier. And there's actually going to be restrictions on how often you can switch between them.
That seems really interesting, but I also like to have the ability to use Cleric and DPS, particularly when you need to solo things. So I'm a little hesitant to think of how that's going to affect someone when they need to do solo missions. It makes me wonder, okay, are they not going to have the attack power that they need to to finish duties, individual duties on time? Is it going to affect them if they have to go out and solo something? So I guess that's something that we'll have to think about.
Well, the other thing is, the effects are going to be changing depending on the stance. So you're going to be needing to juggle like, the same set of skills, but like twice. So you have to memorize them twice, and that's going to have like more skills than other classes.
Definitely seems really involved, and I think for somebody who's looking for a challenge, like when it talks about you can draw cards to buff your team. You can use the card or hold it and use it together with the next card. It's going to be something that's going to be really, really fun, but you're going to have somebody who's really attentive and really into what they do and really understand their role for it to be a success.
I really do agree with that. The other thing that I find interesting is the last thing you said there was you can either hold it and use it together with the next card. So that means that it seems to me that you have to actually use it either immediately or with the next card, that you just can't hoard the cards.
Right. So I guess it would be one of those things like, okay, I'm going to use it right now, or you want to hold it because you're waiting for a particularly heavy moment that you're going to need big buffs, big heals, and then you'll be able to throw 2 cards down at once. And so I can see how that can be really useful, but this is something that people are really going to have to be on it in order to succeed in that class.
I think that's one of the reasons I'm actually like looking forward to it, because I think it's going to be that challenge right there about whether I should be in heal stance or barrier stance, or I just drew a card. Do I want to use it now, or should I save it for the next card I draw?
See, I don't think that's for me. I tend to try to juggle a number of things, including my life at home and as a wife and a mother, and my Final Fantasy life. And I don't know if for me Astrologian is going to be one of those things that I can play when my kid is gone to bed for the night, because I won't be, not to say that I don't pay attention as a white mage, but things are fairly automatic in a sense. You know what you need to do, you know where the buttons are, you know what to watch, and if you look away for half a second and then come back, everything's going to be okay. But I don't feel that that's going to be the same with Astrologian, and maybe it's going to be much like Ninja, where you really have to be on doing what you do at certain times, right order, in order to be getting the most out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean there.
However, Machinist, that is something I am super stoked for, and I really think that that's going to become my main DPS class. I mean, I'll still always main healer, but, well, I have a main healer, I have a main DPS, but I think that that's going to be my go-to DPS class is Machinist. It just seems so fun.
Well, just like the fact that you can charge it, and the longer you charge it, the more powerful that attack's gonna be.
I think too, there's going to be a lot of fun in it, because it talks about you have to do the gunpowder buff, and you have to reload, and I think that that's going to be something really fun, really different than any of the other damage classes that are available. So I'm really stoked for Machinist. I'm looking forward to that.
Giganta, how about you? Which one are you looking forward to there?
Probably Machinist the most. I haven't really looked too much into the new classes, as I'm kind of just want to be surprised by them and what all they hold. But from the stuff that I've seen, Machinist is pretty nice.
This looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing we can talk about right now too is going to be the limit breaks, and all the current LB3s are going to be reassigned. But the one I'm more I don't even know how to say this right now. Looking forward to, I guess, is going to be the Astrologians, which I don't know how they're going to do that. I mean, I would love to be able to see them just stop time for real, because I think that would be awesome. But it just seems like it's going to seem like time will stop and everybody's going to be healed. But then it also says, it was reckless the way it was implemented. So I wonder how reckless that it was implemented.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think that you think that it's going to have like a raid-wide effect where it's going to stop time for everyone. And that's what they mean it's reckless.
I think so. I'm hoping that it's not it wasn't like the way it was implemented. It was reckless that every time you use it, the raid just stops and everybody's kicked out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's going to be really cool. We'll go into the items and everything, but I think the thing I like about that is the Fat Chocobo is going to be flying.
I can't wait.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's going to be really slow. But he's going to be really slow.
But I'm just wondering how he's going to be able to fly.
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. That Fat Chocobo will fly. I will ride him everywhere.
And I guess since you mentioned your Zeta already, it looks like the weapon quest, or more accurately a weapon that grows together with you, will continue in 3.1. The overall concept is still the same. Time in exchange for strength. There might be some changes. Those will be revealed in time.
Right, and I figured that there was going to be some kind of an increase in a moving forward on the Zodiac, because there's no way that they wouldn't implement higher amounts for the Zodiac, and instead maybe just go to Tombstone currency weapons or drops from primal fights, etc. Just because of all the time and effort that people have put into these weapons. They'd be absolutely infuriated if everything went up, 20 eye levels, and they're left behind with this useless relic. I would be really upset because I put a lot of time and effort into mine. So I figured that was just something that was going to happen regardless.
Well, the other thing is that the eye level gear between each patch will be wider than before. I don't know what they mean by that, but they also said Alexander Hard Mode will also contain the strongest gear available. Just there will be more in-between options available.
This is something that I didn't catch the first time. Snowboarding?
Yeah, it was just something that I guess he wasn't allowed to say anything about the upcoming Sorcerer event, so he just did what would Yoshida do if snowboarding was implemented.
Okay, I see. All right.
I just think it's amazing that he has this whole quest line already planned out for the snowboarding thing. Well, other things that are going to come in this is going to be crafting is going to change. They want to do I guess a script system and
a little too, I like what they say here, that along the way crafting became a little too hardcore.
I haven't done, the truth be told, I haven't even done much crafting. I mean, it just seems way too much for me.
really is. And there's a lot of people that main it, and that's what they do. They main crafter. That's what they live, eat, and breathe crafting. And for me, there's so much more in this game, and I want crafting to be something that's casual, but something that I can still be really good at it. And I've got a couple of crafters that are 50, but they're only 1-star. And I know Anya said that she's got all her crafters at 50 at 3-star or better. And some people are able to do that. But for me, it's just too much.
Yeah, I think we've got like 2 or 3 4-star crafters in RFC, and I'm just kind of sitting here like I don't even have my 3rd class 50 yet, or my 4th class, let alone a
Exactly.
crafting class.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, I have 2 crafting classes, and I've grinded them up to 50, and I did goldsmith, and it was great, and it's really useful. But I don't see myself maining it ever, or having all of my crafters leveled that high. It's one of those things that I do when I'm bored and tired of Duty Finder and I'm really unsuccessful at everything, but I still want to play the game and I don't feel like fighting, so that's what I do. But it's really just I find it very cumbersome. It's really involved, and I can't seem to quite figure out what to do once you hit 50 and you hit 1-star, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this too, because this is still crafting, but it looks like with like free companies, you're going to be able to make your own house where you can build and design it, and there's going to be like a glamour that's going to be so you can switch your company housing.
I
That
think
just
the
seems...
only thing that I'm actually curious about with housing is that the people that have crafted all the like extreme primal items, like I know recently we just got our FC leader, the Whisker from Extreme uh Thorn March, and I mean it's a pain to get, and even crafting those items is just ridiculous.
I like the idea of like they're talking about in here, the ability for, say, someone who is like a master crafter, to a sense take on an apprentice, and that's pretty cool that they can kind of help guide and teach somebody and help them level their way through crafting. So that's kind of cool. You know, you'll gain new recipes and stuff by being the instructor, I guess. So that's cool. I don't see many of the things like the housing thing's pretty neat. For me personally, I don't see them already being a huge thing for me, I guess, you know.
I'm not even sure about the crafting thing. I have a low level and way low level like weaver.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm really happy that they're building in and they're also taking into account the crafters, because there's a lot of crafters in the game. And so it's important that they, you know, stand not only up on, you know, the battle aspect of Final Fantasy, but also the crafting and the gathering that comes along with it. Because that's going to help keep their customer base. So it's a good choice. But for me personally, like, I don't have a lot to say about it. Because it's just not. That's a huge thing for me.
Okay, well, let's get away from crafting and let's look at the patch notes here for 2.55.
Right, that's what I want to talk about. Okay, let me pull my patch notes. Okay, so I have not had much of a chance yet to get in and actually play, but I have read the patch notes a couple of times and kind of started the new content, so
Sorry, I was actually counting the new quests for the thing here, and it looks like there's 16 new quests for the main storyline.
Yeah, somewhere around there. And they all go along with the same storyline that, we've been following, I guess, since we started the game. And so, and it's going to end with the final quest that you need completed before Heavensward comes out, and that's Before the Dawn. And once you finish Before the Dawn, then you'll be able to dive right into the expansions content.
Too bad we can't do that now.
Right?
We're not going to go through all the names of these quests because I don't know how much of these are kind of like spoilerish or what.
Either of you? Yeah. No, I don't want to go through them individually. I'll let people explore it on their own.
And it looks like we got 3 more Delivery Moogle quests here.
I was looking earlier and I saw a couple of quests that had Moogle in it, and I'm kind of curious. I didn't really look too much into it as I didn't have too much time, but I'm really curious as to what that's going to go on about.
I haven't really done. So if somebody else has, that's all you, because I don't know a whole lot about them. I've done like a couple and.
I haven't done any of them, so I couldn't even begin to go on about them.
Okay. What about Triple Triad and Chocobo Racing? Is that something that you guys are really something into?
No, but we probably should go over it for like people who are actually interested in that stuff.
Okay.
Even if it's just like a rundown.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and handle that then, and I'll chime in if I see anything important, but I don't really do gold saucers, so if you want to do a rundown, by all means.
Okay, the decks used by certain NPCs have been adjusted. New NPCs have been added. The rules in effect when challenging certain NPCs have been adjusted. The number of matches in the tournaments have been adjusted. The number of points received winning a match has been adjusted. The bonus MGP based on number of points they earned when a tournament ends, and they'll be rewarded a Platinum Triad card depending on the number of points they have earned when a tournament ends. Without playing the Triad, I couldn't tell you like what any of that means.
I've played them a little bit, and it's fun. Just for me personally, like it's not that great, I guess. Well, not that Triple Triad isn't that great. It's actually a really well executed and fun card game. But even when I played Final Fantasy VIII, I just wasn't into the card games. So, sounds like it's great stuff though for people who are really into playing it though.
It does. I mean, like I said, I haven't even attempted it yet. I haven't even stepped foot into the Golden Saucer yet, so.
Really overwhelming at first, and you should go. You should definitely go and take a look and just go and play around and play the mini games and check out the Chocobo races. I hear that Chocobo racing is a really good way to get MGP, which is the currency in Gold Saucer, which you can use to get gamblers outfits. You can use to get mounts. The turtle, the gold turtle, and the
Fat Chocobo.
Fenrir.
Minion.
Chocobo. Minion, exactly. I just want Fenrir, but I don't think that I'll ever have enough MGP to make that happen, so.
That one does look like a really cool mount. I mean, speaking of Chocobo Racing, I mean, the stuff that's been adjusted has been the MGP awards for Chocobo Racing. And to discourage players from purposely finishing in last place, the number of MGP obtained by that person has been reduced.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep, and it looks like the size of the treasure coffers that appear during race courses have been increased. The frequency with which the blue treasure coffers have do appear has been adjusted, and the frequency of certain race items appear have been adjusted, and the effects of certain race items have been adjusted. And they specifically state the duration of Gravel Ball has been increased from 5 to 10 seconds, and that Buckets' water now causes greater stamina loss.
Okay.
I mean, this other stuff is like the obstacles have been relocated on Sangalali Road. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't know what I'm talking about here at all, so...
Yeah, you know, and people can always pull these up and look. Just all you have to do is go onto Google and search, you know, FFXIV 2.55 patch notes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to go through these abilities because there's a whole bunch of abilities here for Chocobo Racing that's been changed.
And it really looks like what they've done by and large when you look down the list, even just to skim it, is that they've really just kind of buffed up the things that the Chocobos do. It doesn't look like to me that there's been, and I may be wrong on this, but it doesn't look like there's been any nerfs. They've all been buffed up, the abilities that these Chocobos can do. So that's always a good thing, right?
Yep. I mean, the other changes that they've done to this is the players will no longer be tasked with delivering only a single priceless third Destiny Phage in the gates face-off. And MGP for, you know, face-off and cliffhanger have been increased. MGP awarded from minigames have been increased. And the NPC grade at the entrance square will now sell various items. And there's also a arms mender at the entrance square.
Okay, and then they talk about the new trial a little bit. And you get a picture. I think what's neat about this, and I haven't gotten in it yet, but I hear that this trial is pretty tough, and even on my server in Party Finder, people are putting up instructional parties for first timers, them how to do it, because and like it says here, you know, success in the steps of faith is contingent upon the ability to defend certain constructs along the bridge toward Ishgard. A total party incapacitation will not result in failure of the duty, then will instead be returned to the starting point of the duty, and then they can return to the battle.
Oh my god, I like that a lot.
I think that's a really wonderful idea. And you know, I thought about it when I first read it. I was like, that's really cool. That's really strategic. And then I thought, this is going to be a nightmare through Duty Finder. No?
I think it will be, but you're still not going to have like people that's going to like just like boot people off. At least I hope. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But you know, when you see people coming in, you're not going to be like, oh crap, and then you see like new people, you're like, oh crap, it's gonna be like 3 or 4 times before we finally finish this. You know, people die, they come right back and join the fight.
That's really great too, actually. So I guess next time we talk, I will let you know how it went when I went through it, because I'm hoping that between tonight and tomorrow I can get to it in between my yard work.
I'm hoping to do it as soon as possible as well.
Well, maybe next time we sit down to chat, I'll be able to tell you how my experience went with it, and you know, we can kind of talk about it from there. Okay,
well, the other things that have been like added is like Final Coral of Bahamut has been adjusted. The Word of Darkness has its weekly limitation just abolished.
I'm so excited with that, and you know, I'm really excited about a few of the things that they put in this patch, and that is, you know, in Second Coil, you can, it's got Insta Echo. And that's going to be great for a lot of people who have been struggling to get past it. Like myself, because I don't run a static. We're not a hardcore free company. Sorry.
That's going to be great for me because I still have yet to finish the Word of Darkness. But that'd be awesome to be able to go in there and get, anything I need, and then go back, and go back, and go back.
Not sure. That is really nice to be able to farm it a little bit more freely now, and I'm really, really stoked when you do the Gift of the Archmagus that you can now get the Encrypted Tomestone, because that's going to give you the ability to get a 130 Ironworks weapon.
That's good for you.
If you don't want to do Relic
Let me open it.
for
I'm
any
so
of your
excited for that.
other classes. Me too, because then I can get other better weapons for my alt classes and be a better Black Mage. I didn't want to be stuck with a 110 weapon forever, and I didn't want to be farming Shiva, so.
I mean, the other things is just like quality of life stuff, is like just items that can be stored in the armoire now, items being added to the inventory of the Calamity Salvager. And let's see here. My left arm title for completing the quest before the dawn.
All right.
And I do like that title, Postal. That'd be awesome title to have right there.
Let's see.
The other thing.
Store those items in the armoire that way that you don't have to leave them in either with your retainer or your armory chest.
Well, the other thing is, I don't think like hardly anybody goes back to their inn now anyway to put anything in the armoire.
Not really, no.
I don't think I think I've been back there like maybe twice, and both times I think was just to get a haircut.
Yeah, no, I only go.
Yeah. I'll eventually go to like play new games, but that's basically it.
Yeah, same.
And I guess the last thing we can talk about here is the music while riding the Magitech armor and goated Magitech armor mounts have been changed.
Yeah, I know, and it's very reminiscent, and it's awesome.
I mean, it sounds like it's gonna be awesome because it looks like it's gonna be like a nod to Final Fantasy VI.
Yes, or some people also know that as 3, depending on the version you played, but it's the same one. So, but it's great. It's an awesome throwback. So, I thought that was a good add-on. I thought that was.
The one thing I liked was when like the developers' notes when they were talking about that is you need to go to like Karathos and just dredge through the snow while having like 3 people on their Magitech armors.
I'm so gonna do that later. I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that later. I didn't do that last night, but I'm gonna do that later.
Well, that looks like the rest of the notes. I mean, do we want to go over some of the known issues?
Well, I mean, the only really thing that I don't know. I kind of read over them, and it just minor stuff, you know. I don't really think that it's, I don't know, worth mention, but we can. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty standstill on the entire thing.
All right, cool.
Okay, so I guess that's going to be it for tonight because we got through everything that we wanted to, especially the patch notes.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about next week?
I think maybe we can talk about our experiences with the new content and how we enjoyed it. And let's see, next week, let me check my calendar.
Well, I don't think we'll be able to do this on like Sunday because that's Easter.
Yeah, so let's say I don't know. I think for me right now, all I'd really want to talk about is my experience with the new patch content.
I think
agree.
that sounds good. If anything comes up between now and then that's like really big, we can discuss it then as well.
Okay. And, sounds good.
So I guess this is the part of the show where we're going to say goodbye to everybody. Girls, you can say goodbye too.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, we'll see everybody. Well, we won't see you, but hopefully you liked what you listened to, and we'll see. You'll hear from us next week. Bye.
User